Welcome, my name is Max Sandberger. I'm a data scientist at MIC, and MIC is a global trade and compliance software provider for multiple big companies. And since 2022, we created our own AI team, data science team, to have a look on how we can integrate AI and data analytics into our products. And today I will give a short introduction into one use case on how we can use AI in our services. First, we have a look at the business case. Our business case is trade document processing. So a lot of trade documents are still either in physical form, they are scanned, or in PDFs or emails. Also Excel files are included in this trade document. And our business use case was to basically automate this manual input of users into our software. So around 80% of all business documents are still PDFs. They are not coming over interfaces where this is automatically processed. And so there's a lot of upside in automating this. And our goal was to use AI for this. And I think since 2 years ago, there's this technology called structured output, where you can tell generative AI models like ChatGPT to output a certain form of structure. Like I said, we have trade documents. Usually these are invoices or something like this, and they fill out a certain formula. In this case, for example, I've provided an invoice. An invoice always has an invoice number, it has an amount, it has positions. So you predefine the structure, and then you tell the AI to fill out this form. Then you give it text or images. An Excel file is text, HTML files are text, or PDFs have also text inside them, and say to the AI, fill out this form. It always provides then a valid JSON as an output, and then you can process this in other interfaces. So to use this technology, we created our own service for this. We call it Vision API. This is basically takes text, it can take Excel files, it can take PDFs, it can take images, and then extracts the relevant information, which you also can define into a JSON, a structured output, so to say. Why we created this Vision API is to use multiple providers. So AI models, there are many AI models. The big providers are OpenAI and Anthropic. And it's always good to have a variation of all to give the customers the choice what they want to use. Usually big customers like our clients have already contracts with certain AI providers. So maybe they get their models from OpenAI, or they want to use a new model like Mistral or something like this. So this gives basically the choice to the customer which provider they want to use. We also host our own models. For example, the Alibaba Qwen model and Meta Llama models are open source, and we can host them on our own. But this is quite expensive because you have to provide GPU nodes, and it's usually more cost effective and also more performant to use an external provider like OpenAI or Anthropic. Yeah, then we created this Docflow, we call it. This is basically the UI for this whole process, where you can basically input documents over file upload, FTP, or over emails, and then you can extract it, and then it shows you the extracted fields. You can compare it. It has a few validation rules where basic things are checked, like sums or amounts. And then you can validate this and send it to our other modules, where you then can declare this data to customs and other customs processes. Well, like I said, the input now is very, it can vary. So you can, LLMs or generative AI models can usually take images and text. And most of our data is probably text usually, like PDFs or Excel spreadsheets or our other interface formats like XML or JSON or HTML. So usually this is already text, and you can also process images, but this is more of a separate use case, not really for us. Yeah, then like I said, the plan is to integrate this scanning or extracting module into all our other products to make this an automation process where you don't have to type in this manually, where you can just upload the PDF or Excel file, and then automatically this is extracted and filled in the correct fields in our software, and then you can declare it to customs without any manual input. Yeah, now I've basically describe the concepts and what we have done. And here is the whole process now, what this Docflow actually does. So it ingests documents over email, over FTP, over manual upload. And then the first step usually is OCR, so optical character recognition. Some PDFs are scans. They don't really have text inside them yet. So you cannot extract the text per se. It's just an image. And then you use other AI models to extract this text first, that you can process this document more easily than just using the image information. And then we classify the document. This can be done either manually. You say this document is an invoice, or this document is a packaging list, or you can automate this and let the AI choose what this document is. For example, usually on an invoice, there's somewhere written that it's an invoice packaging list or loading list, have a certain phrasing there. So this can also be automated. One additional thing we have to do is splitting this document because some documents are quite big, and generative AI models usually have a context limit. So you cannot paste in, I think, 500 pages, you cannot paste in it all at once. You have to split this. And also the output is a little bit limited. For example, if you have an Excel file with 5,000 lines, the input works, but the output, it cannot generate that much text at once. So you have to basically stream this step by step, chunk by chunk, and then put it together at the end. Yeah, this is basically the AI extraction process, then, which I told you, the structured output with the Vision API and the certain provider you selected. And then this is filled into a UI form where you can validate and scroll over the extracted fields. So you can check this, you can say this is valid, you can change stuff if something went wrong. There are certain checks and validations, for example, for sums. And then after you have decided this is correctly extracted, then you can send it to the MIG modules to declare it to customs. We can also automate this process if you say, for example, if the sums match, then you automatically transfer it to customs and then to our cast module, for example, and then it automatically declares it to customs. So usually you can actually automate the whole process, but for starting, I think human review and manual upload is the way to go to get the feeling for this application. Yeah, now I will show what this product actually looks like. So we have a short example. So we go to our Launchpad and our Docflow. And here we have our transactions. So I can create a new transaction, for example, for import with the reference number test or demo. And then I can select the document types, for example, invoice. And then I can upload my documents. So here I've prepared a few documents, PDFs and an image. So we can upload this here. Then we see here our documents. And now I can click extract. And now this is sent to the Vision API and this will be processed now. This will take a few seconds. Yeah, we can have a look at the invoice for the moment. So this is the image for the moment. So you have an invoice from Spar, I think. It's a bad photo, I guess, but just for the example, here you can see the lines of the invoice, so to say, and hopefully this will be extracted. Yeah, we can see now one model was extracted. Here this invoice. So we can see here now on the right side the invoice, and on the left side we can see the extracted fields. So here we have two positions. Let's check. Yeah, we have one position, two positions. the sum matches. That's why in the validation it says, yeah, it's here validation successful. Here also another invoice, for example, it's the same stuff. You can validate this, and yeah, then you can say this, okay, let's look at the image, how this looks. And it's a little bit more sparse, the information which was extracted, of course, because it's basically not there. And here we have a few validation errors, of course, because no unit price could be extracted. So this says, yeah, this is missing. And yeah, you can have a look at this and then maybe change stuff here, add the unit price or stuff like this, and then you can say, okay, this is now valid. And after this, you can transfer this to our MIC modules, and then you can go on from there and declare it to customs. So this is our product now, which we created in the last year. So basically we had a use case, then we looked into what AI can provide for this use case. We found out this structured output actually seems quite useful for this kind of things, and then we implemented the product, and now we are in the middle of setting our first customer live. So the production deployment was last week, I think. And yeah, this is our first paying customer. And now we hope we can integrate this into all our products, and hopefully all our customers will buy this, because usually this is a task which everyone has, and yeah, it makes life easier. And I think this is how you can use AI in business use cases to automate certain processes which are tedious, which are manually done. And yeah, I think this is quite a good example for this. Thanks.